Maybe if you tried, then I would not bother. I need everything that could have been, but anything now, everything's embarrassing. Baby, baby, baby.
I'm MK. I'm in LA, in Burbank at Will Smith's studio called Boomer Room. Lee and Jamie would always ask me to play at their parties, and I'm like, I don't really DJ, but I'll do it. But then over the years, I'm like, maybe I should DJ. So then I became friends with Lee and Jamie, and then I became really close with Lee because, you know, Lee lives here. And we kind of like, we work similar together. And then I met Anabel last summer, and then Lee was like, I met this really good singer named Anabel. I'm like, wait a minute, I know Anabel. And so we did it, you know, we did a track with her called Electricity. Anabel she did a song on Hot Natured album called Reverse Skydiving, which is amazing. It's my favorite song. And then I was talking to Lee, and then he's like, let's just form a group with me, you, and Anabel, which is called Pleasure State. So we're working on that today.
The time is the money and the money is mine. The time is the money and the money is mine.
Well, when I was 14, I just started making music just because of my house. And then a friend of mine was putting like house music out in Detroit. And then he was like, do you want to do a record on my EP? I'm like 16, I'm like, yeah, cool. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm like, all right. So I made a track, and then Kevin Saunderson heard it from Inner City. And then he was like, who's that guy? And so I started working with Kevin, and then Kevin started teaching me about it. I didn't really like house music for like, even when I made Burning, I don't think I liked house music so much.
So what did you think you were making then?
I'm just making music, bro. Like, I don't, it's like making really good melodic rhythm music. When I was 20, I went to a Sound Factory bar in New York, and I just made a remix called Can You Feel It for Chez Damier, and Master at Work were DJing, and Kenny Dope played it, and I'm like, and like I idolized Master at Work, like they were like my favorite producers, and then Kenny Dope played it, and then every single person in the club ran to the dance floor and put their hands up. I was like, and I freaked out. Honestly, it's like having sex. It's like, it's that good. It's like, you do something, you see people like it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's the best feeling you can want. Like when I made Burning, I remember like I made it on a Fostex like 8-track recorder, like it had a cassette. And I was in my room, and I played just a track. I didn't have vocals yet. I listened to it for an hour. I'm like, this is fucking dope. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then Lana sang on it. I'm like, it's really dope.
Scared to say it out loud, but baby, can you talk to me? I need you violently. Been waiting to taste you, feel you, I need you.
Time is the money.
Time, yeah, where you were unsure about what you were saying, so you
Yeah.
kind of like came in.
You can delete that
Punch
part.
it. No, punch it. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
I'll delete it and we'll punch it.
Like my main thing is like I chop vocals, and in the 90s I used to use an A.k.a. S1100, but I was 20, had a million hours on my hand, so I can like spend hours to like chop vocals. I don't want to spend hours to chop vocals now, but like this, it's so easy now. You can drag and drop, cut, paste, move the keys around, so it's easier.
So you can't work without this. This is your.
Well, this is my controller now, which is funny because I use just USB controllers, but then I saw this, I'm like, I want it, and then I use it a lot, but sometimes I don't actually.
So you were saying what some of the tracks do you use the bass out of the Moog a lot?
Yeah, I use the Lana Del Rey. I used it because it's it's definitely fatter, and there's an app that you can use in Logic where it controls the filters at the same time, so it makes it easier. You can automate them in there. Like I can turn a knob, you can use this, screen, and automate it in there, which makes it easier and then fun. Like once I get the mix where I know where I want it, then everything else is like, you know, it's like cherries on top. Because right now, you know, I've done this for 20 years. It's easy to get all my music down, but now it's like, it's not harder to do vocals, but if I can have like a really good mic that just plugs into computer without going to like outboard gear.
Yeah.
And
basically a way to prevent having to have this full...
Yeah.
If there was a technological advancement that allowed you to stop having to come to treated
Exactly.
rooms with hot pre's and all of that stuff, yeah. Okay.
Because now, like, because, you know, I've been doing so much, I have, like, almost access to, like, not any writer, but a lot of writers, a lot of vocalists, a lot of, like, writers that write hit music. I'm like, all right, come to my house and sing in my room?
Yeah.
You know? So if that was easier, then it'd be, you know, it'd be different.
So do you find that a lot with working with writers and singers? Like, because there's nothing stopping you recording like Anabel with a mic in a corner of, in a wardrobe.
Yep.
Not the same result, obviously, but you kind of have to bring them to this environment because people expect that.
Yeah.
There's still
the funny thing with Anabel Electricity, we recorded in Lee's flat in downtown. Like, I had like, I forgot what mic it was, like a $600 mic, and she sang it right there. But, you know, she sounds so good, it worked out. But, you know.
Do you think you get a better result with vocalists in studios, though? I mean, as in...
Of course, yeah, of course.
They feel more comfortable.
Well, I mean, she's cool. She's so easy to work with. It's like, you know, like me, Lee, and Anabel, like, we're all like the same... We have the same personality. So we can sit there and be like, hey, you want to sing? No? All right, cool, don't sing. But if she does want to sing, we'll turn the mic on and she'll sing and she'll kill it. And Lee will be the same way. And I'm the same way. Like, when I produce, like, I can't produce. I spend so much... I have so much free time doing nothing. Because I can't make a track if I'm not into it. You know, I'll sit at home and play video games if I try to make a track. I just don't force it anymore. I'm older now, so I've seen it. So, you know, I sat in the studio before, like, for hours, like, I gotta make this track. But you're like, it never comes out right. Until you're like, hey, you wanna make a track? Yeah, cool. You make it. The track Electricity with me and Lee and Anabel, we made it, like, also just hanging out. Like, Lee ordered, like, sushi and wine, and we were, like, at Lee's place, you know, messing around. Anabel started singing.
Do you think that's a very specific thing to electronic music? I mean, I know if you're in a band, you kind of go to somebody's garage, you jam out, and then things evolve. But as electronic musicians, don't really get that often. They're sort of sat on their own, going, right, okay, I've got all this equipment. I mean,
no, actually, yeah, it's like, because I'm from, you know, I'm not 10, so I know that, you know, the best way to make music is just by vibe. You just hang out, and at least for me, that's the best music comes out. Even when, you know, like I said, when I'm at home, my remixes, my managers call me, is it done? Nope, I didn't even start it yet. But you start it when you feel it, and you kind of have fun with it. It works or it doesn't work. But once it gets to a point where it's like a job, you're like, oh man, I gotta make it. I gotta do a song. That's not fun. On most remixes, I like to get the whole stems. Because, you know, it gets boring. If somebody sings a cappella with, like, vocals, comp, backgrounds, it's just boring to me. But usually, I like, you know, the vocal stems separate, harmony notes separate. Even if it's, like, it may be, like, 20 tracks of just vocals, but I like it that way.
So it's a lot of preparation before you can really get started.
I mean, I'm okay, though. You know, I spend, like, a day on prep just to get into it, and then I'm cool.
So do you usually, like, sort of have a folder and sort of go, that's cool,
nah,
segment? No?
I'm so unorganized. I'm like, I have 4 computers at home, and I have some, like, my manager's like, where's those vocals? I'm like, I don't know. Because they're split up everywhere. They're all over the place. I'm trying to get it more organized now, but I have, like, a download folder in one computer and then a download another computer. But...
So you need to get synchronized.
Yeah, you know, that's Apple's problem.
So once you got to the stage of finding...
What I do, I start out, I use the vocals. I don't use any of the track, mostly. But I used Lana Del Rey's on both remixes that I did. I did Summertime Sadness, and then Blue Jeans, but because she has like really good music. So I keep her music out of all the remixes I've done. I always keep hers because she has cool shit. So everybody else I just throw it out. I use the vocals. Her strings she uses are really cool. Her chords are cool. So I use it. It's a cool intro for like in a club. Everybody's drunk, you know. It sounds cool. And then her voice is really cool.
Kiss me hard before you go.
So I use that for my intro.
And do you reprocess the vocals, or do you usually...
No. I just use her stems straight away.
So you use the effects to stems? Do you get...
No, there's nothing. That's just dry.
Okay.
That's all Elena.
I got my red dress.
This is all her. But it's cool in that setting, you know. It's like it works because it's like you're like, what's going on? And this comes in. That's all me though. You know what I mean? So it's like it splits it up. When I work on remixes, like there's a point somewhere in the remix where I know I got it. You know what I mean? So it's like once I got that, I'm like, I got it. So once, you know, then I'm like, all right, cool. Then everything else is easy.
So sound-wise, where are you getting those sounds from? That kind of Rosie Bell sound.
Well, the funny thing is, like, I use that same sound from the other Lana Del Rey remix I did, the Blue Jeans mix. But I go to these points where I use the same sounds for like a couple remixes, because I'm like the way I remix, I'm really vibey. I don't think about like what people like if they're like, oh, MK used that same sound before. It's like I just play what I like. If I like it, then cool, it goes. And the sound's been working. Like that's like from Silent. But it's kind of like the sound I used for a song I did called Burning, like 20 years ago. It's like kind of like cheesy a little bit, but it's like it's got a cool like tone to it that works.
And when it's got that other layer underneath, it sounds a bit more...
Well, the funny thing is like the bass line is totally different. It's like... Hold on. The bass line is a totally different tone. Really dark, off, kind of ugly. But like you mix ugly with pretty, it works. The guys like the bass line. The girls like the chords. You know what I mean? So it works.
And is that the main meat of the sounds then there? Just those two?
Those two, and then it's like a kick, hi-hat, and clap. What I like to do, I like to use samples, vocal samples, that just make it a little more edgy, because a lot of time when I remix, I'll remix on a commercial song where the label's trying to sell like 1 million copies, which sometimes it can get cheesy. So I try to like bring it down to not sell 1 million copies. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like to the underground, to like the...
Yeah. It's like I mean, I don't really like commercial shit, but who really does?
So do you find yourself having to balance what the labels after? And
I always do. I'm always up on a balance. And
have you found that easier as you've got more and more experience to know what the labels are going to want, so you don't even have to have that?
Well, I've been doing it for a while, so I kind of, it's like inbred it in me now. I don't even think about it. Well, right now I have the track. So what I like to find certain parts of the vocals I want to use as a sample. So I just play the track. I just keep going. Sometimes it takes an hour, sometimes 2 minutes. But if I have it without the harmonies, I can take the bass line out and make something new.
And change the key.
Change the key.
And I guess you can with Machine. I mean, do you ever tune using Machine and fine tune and stuff like that? Okay. I
just did a mix where I did a remix where the vocalist was out of key, so I used Melodyne to tune the vocals first, and then I changed the key after I tuned it.
So with Machine.
Yep.
Maybe if you tried, then I would not bother.